Welcome to another episode of Building a West Coast Drive, an instructional video series by 2363 Triple Helix Robotics. In episode 11, we'll be learning how to do a couple of things. The first is installing the chains in the drive rail, and then we will be tensioning those chains. So let's get started. So what we have here now is our drive rail set up, and we have our parts that we're going to be installing to install our chains. So what we do is we write on the drive rail the spacer thicknesses that we need to put in here that will properly space the sprockets from the bearings. And then we've got pre-positioned all of the right spacers. So you can see what's here is a 1/2 inch, and we've got 6/25, we've got 3/8, we've got 7/8, and we've got 1/4, and we've got all of those spacers set up, ready to go. And we have our bearing blocks that are going to go into those positions, and we have the axles that are going to go in those positions. And in the center, we have just a piece of scrap shaft that we're going to use to simulate the gearbox, because it's not the real gearbox shaft yet. And the assembly tool that we use to put these chains into place is this short little piece of shaft that is just long enough that it will couple these two sprockets together, and it will fit inside of the drive rail. We should say that when we set up our sprockets, we set it up so that the hubs for the sprockets always face towards the outside of our drive rail. And you can tell the difference between the inside and the outside of the drive rail by this pattern of holes that's on the end. So the pattern of holes on the end faces towards the inside of the robot, because this is where the L bracket goes that attaches to our ladder bar. So if we look over, the hubs are facing towards the outside. First step is what? To hold that drive rail vertical?
Yeah, you gotta hold it up on its side like this.
Yep.
And then next what you're gonna do is you take the whole assembly that you have laid out here with the sprocket and the chain, and you have to
somebody hold on to that rail for her.
Slowly drop it through.
There we go.
And then when you get to up here, you kind of have to pass it down to your finger in the top hole.
Good.
Let go. Like that.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is you're going to take the top shaft, and you're going to try and push it right through this sprocket that you caught with your finger.
And once that first shaft is in, then everything's secure, right?
Pretty much. So then...
Okay, so that's the first one.
Next, you're going to put the middle one in.
So you're going to put the middle shaft in and press out, push out the short little shaft?
You're going to go... So basically, you're just swapping them.
Okay. Okay, so now that one's in. Okay.
And then you're going to put the bottom one in.
Okay.
So just slide that.
Good. Okay. Now what?
So then, after that, you're going to put the spacers in.
Yep.
And so we can look at the numbers that we made, because I think it got mixed up a little bit. And so that means we're going to have 1/4 inch on this side, so we can slide that one in.
Yep.
Like that. And
Cool.
then we're gonna
Keep your hands on that tube, guys. Don't let it fall.
We're going to have 7/8 on this side.
Yeah.
And put that one on.
Okay.
Slide it in. And so that'll make it even and make sure that it stays tight and centered.
Okay.
So we're going to have 3/8 on this side.
Okay.
1/2 inch here. And 5/8 here.
Are you missing one?
Oh, I'm missing one.
Yeah. Okay. Then what? We put the top bearing plates on next?
Yes. Yes, we can do that or put the center ones on.
Okay, so you're gonna have to take those screws out.
Put that on like that.
Yep.
And then we put the other side on like this. And you have to make sure that the little lips are on the side of the shaft.
Okay.
Yeah. So like that.
Okay, and then go ahead and tighten those up.
Yep.
Okay.
Like that.
And is that still loose enough to slide, or is it pretty tight? Do you want it loose enough to slide?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Loosen it up a little bit. So like that.
Cool. Okay. Now we do the bottom one.
That'll make it easier to get the bearings in.
Okay, that's one. Okay. Okay.
So we can still slide it a little bit.
Okay, so now we're going to do the center bearings.
And being able to slide this will help when you put, like, when there was an actual gearbox on there and
Yep.
putting the bearings on.
Okay. And the one that's on the outside is the real bearing. The one that's on the inside sort of simulates the gearbox.
Turn the, yeah.
Yeah, I just
There
have
you
to see it.
There you go. Okay, can you get it in there? Okay, and now this is the next one. Okay. Okay, so now that we've got our inner one there, everything should be secure, right? So we should be able to lay it down on the table and pull the blocks tight. Okay. So now we got to pull these out and then tighten them.
We need the Allen wrench.
Yep.
Push it out as far as it can go.
Yeah.
And then you just tighten it the rest of the way down.
Yes. Okay. And then this way.
So push it this way as far as you can.
That way?
That way.
Yeah.
Because you're tensioning the chain.
So that's how you install the chains. Now the next thing that we want to do while we're here is we want to install the little cams that go here that actually tighten those up. So in order for these bearing carriages to stay tensioned, we use these snail cams, and when they're installed, this screw will go through the bearing rail, or the drive rail I should say, and then this cam will go right on the inside, and we will adjust it so that it presses on the bearing carriage and holds it out. So we'll go ahead and install the first one. So that goes through. Okay. And we're going to need to loosen up the socketed cap screws that clamp this in place so that it can slide freely. There. Move.
Yep.
Okay. Now you use that cam and the wrench to turn it
You can just do it with your fingers.
by hand. Okay.
So you click it until it's,
Till it's about right.
yep, almost, so it'll feel tight, but not too tight.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah. Do you like turn it by hand to see how it feels?
Yeah, I can.
Just do that.
I mean, it feels pretty normal because I think, is this side loose yet or not tension?
No.
Give it one more click and see what it does. Okay. Okay, that feels pretty tight. All right. And then what do? You
So then
you tighten that up?
Yep, you tighten these again. You'll tighten this too.
Yep.
So you
Lock it in
tighten
place.
this, and then you'll tighten these.
Nice.
So now it should
Okay.
be tight.
Does that feel pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really smooth.
All right, and you guys can do that one.
Loosen it, yeah.
Yep. There you go. That's it. Now will the carriage slide a little bit? Yep. Okay. There you go. Okay. Leave it a little loose so you can rotate it. There. Okay. How's it feel?
Good.
Good. And you feel it, Natalie, because you've done it before.
That feels pretty good. And also you kind of want to leave it not on its tightest thing, so when the chain does get loose during competition, then you can tension it and make it tighter.
Okay. Now we're ready to clamp the blocks. Nice. Okay.
Awesome.
So there. Now the chains are fully installed. And when we assemble the gearbox and install it, then this shaft will get pushed out and the center axle will go into its place. All set? All right. Good job, guys.